I would like to welcome everyone to our 2003-2004 Winter Sports Recognition Night. I'd like to take a moment to thank all of our coaches. They put in a tremendous amount of time and effort with our athletes, and their dedication to our athletic program is greatly appreciated. I would also like to thank Lisa Menard for typing the certificates and Kathy Devins for typing the program. Tonight we will recognize the students who participated in the first session in volleyball, hockey, and bowling. The winter athletic teams have had another successful season here at Northeastern Clinton. There were 2 championship teams in girls basketball and cheerleading, and for the first time that I know of, in girls bowling. But wins and losses are only part of athletics. There are also many impressive individual successes as well as team improvements, and the 2 bowling teams earned 3 sportsmanship awards between them. We also had 54 student athletes earn high honors in academics while participating this winter. On behalf of the coaching staff, I encourage our returning athletes to continue a program of excellence in the future, and I wish the best for our seniors who have performed in these sports for their last time at Northeastern Clinton. Our format tonight will be for each team to assemble up front. I'll introduce the athletes on the team as their coach distributes an awards packet to each of them. Each awards packet contains a participation certificate or a varsity letter certificate. Some athletes will also receive the numbers 07, which is their year of graduation, and some will receive a varsity letter, various insignias, or chevron bars. Please hold your applause until the end of the introductions for each team. The coach will then comment on individual and team accomplishments. And I ask that everyone in the auditorium remain for the full session and that you are quiet while the coaches are speaking so that everyone can hear what is being said about the individuals or teams. The first team I'd like to call down, modified volleyball. Stand right in front. Siem Alguenduz, Rachel Everlett, Abigail Leduc, Alyssa Neverett, Nikki Rabideau, Allison Rich, Michelle Yakey, Melanie Barrier, Cora Carson, Megan Chu, Catherine Dici, Christiana Passano, Tessa Rogers, Sarah Slater, Alexis Rye, Manager Megan Langer. Please welcome the modified volleyball team and coach Tina Duchamp.
I'd like to start by thanking a few people. A special thank you to all the parents who supported their daughters and came to all of our games to offer their encouragement. Thanks to Josie Gilroy, who always does an outstanding job with practice schedules and coordinating our home game, along with keeping the entire sports program running smoothly. I want to thank Brent Baker, the varsity coach, and Patty Oliver Mosley, the JV coach, for all of their time and help. I also like to thank all of my players for working so hard and for putting forth so much effort into the season. I also appreciate the cooperation of moving our practices to Champlain, which I know is not always easy. Beginning of this season, there were nearly 50 girls trying out for modified volleyball. This was the highest number yet, and it only increases every year. So needless to say, selecting the team was not an easy task, and making the team was a tremendous achievement for each of them. I had only one returning player this year. Nikki Rabideau was a very consistent and dependable player. Nikki can always be counted on for her strong serving and hitting. Nikki has worked hard over the past 2 years, and her dedication has certainly paid off. Christiana Passano has a positive attitude that just won't quit. She'll do anything to help the team. Both Christiana's serves and back row passing became something we could always count on. Our team had a total of 5 setters. Setting is a difficult job. When you are on the court, you need to act as a leader and be dependable. Megan Chu possessed all of these qualities, and the quickness helped her as a setter. She was one of the team's leaders in tips, having 15. Her sets and serves are also a big help for us. Melanie Ferrier is a natural in volleyball. Her light touch on the ball and her agility made her a strong setter. She is always laughing and likes to have a good time on the court. An amazing newcomer this year is Allie Rich. Her serve is very powerful, to say the least. You just have to make sure not to be in the line of fire. She puts 110% to every practice and game. And Allie ended the season with a total of 55 points and 2 kills. Sarah Slater. She became much stronger as the season progressed and it showed in her serves. Sarah is often very hard on herself and pushes herself to do better. She worked very hard in her sets in practice and was a capable leader on the court. A good word to describe Abby LeDuc is spunky. Abby is always willing to try and can be counted on to make you laugh. Abby did a great job as a setter and always comes through with some hard serves. Catherine Dici was by far our most quiet player. But with 15 other girls, she learned to make her presence known. Catherine's serves became much stronger and she could always be counted on to have good passes when needed. Tessa Rogers is someone who always is upbeat and it's a pleasure to have on the team. Tessa's passing and serving became much more consistent throughout the season. Cora Carson is a very determined and dedicated player. She listens and is always willing to take advice and keep on trying. Cora improved her overall game throughout the season, especially on her serves. Alexis Rye is also a natural at the game and is a great all-around player. Alexis always has a smile on her face and is a true pleasure to coach. Her serves became very strong and she was an amazing back row player. Right from the start, Sioma Gwendus was a strong player. She gets her serves over when needed and makes good passes when on offense. However, there were times when CM insisted there was a ghost lurking in the halls in Champlain School that would undermine her concentration. Alyssa Neverett had somewhat of a rough start from the early season injury, but she did not let that slow her down. She worked hard to come back early and did a remarkable job in both serving and passing. Determination and self-motivation are words that describe Michelle Yakey. Michelle always puts in a great deal of effort when she plays and never gives up. Even when she was injured in the last day of practice, all she was concerned about was missing practice time, not her injury. Rachel Everlett is a hardworking and dedicated person. She worked hard on setting and had a team high of 16 tips. Rachel never gave up and continued to improve her passing and serving throughout the season. This strong effort earned Rachel this year's Most Improved Player Award. We were lucky this year to have a terrific manager. Megan Langer went above and beyond doing what was required. She could never do enough to help and was always so cheerful and positive, and worked hard in every practice. The team would now like to give Megan a small gift to show our appreciation for everything she's done. Now I'd just like to end by congratulating them on a great season.
Thank you to everyone who gave their support and cooperation. At the beginning of the season, our modified team was off to a rocky start, but as time went on, we progressed and went into a true meeting of what the team should be. At the end, we had a great year. Again, thank you for your support and appreciation of our modified team. Also, thank you to our wonderful coach, Mr. Sherman, for a good management and learning.
Would the JV volleyball team come down front, please? Erin Clellan. Miranda Mills. Ashley Patno, Jenna Burley, Vanessa Di Natale, Tabitha Gillespie, Amanda Goodfellow, Sarah Kelly, Caitlin Langer, Amanda Lynch, Carissa Manette, and Jessica DeRosier. Please welcome our JV volleyball team and Coach Patty Aldermost.
Ms. Lemire was also a student teacher, and part of her duty for student teaching after the elementary school is to follow me wherever I go. So she came to practices and helped our team a lot. If you're wondering, I would like to thank the parents who supported the girls and the volleyball program over the years. Thank you all administrators with scheduling and building uses, and especially Mrs. Gilroy for being our athletic director, one who gives so many hours of devotion to our school. We do see the other side of the picture as coaches, where she goes out of her way to try to ensure that each player stays eligible and does the best scheduling that I've ever seen. My sons go to a different school district, and things aren't always as communicated as they are here. So I really appreciate that, and I think she deserves a round of applause right now. Additionally, I would like to thank Mr. Calvin Castine not only for covering our program, but for all the sports and other programs that he does cover. I am really impressed. Ms. Ducharme also deserves credit and a thank you for the modified program, and congratulations on your teams playing this year and to the team as well. It was great to be able to see how the program works and to actually get down there and see how you play at true competitions. I would also like to thank Mr. Baker and his team for assisting my players at various times throughout the season, and I appreciate the cheering that you did for the JV team. It was also a pleasure working with you, first aid, chewing gum, and watching you all play this year. My next thank you goes out to Ms. Lemire, my student teacher, now she's your student teacher, who helped our team and did an excellent job with scorekeeping whenever necessary, and also for serving as a positive role model to our teams. A special thank you to Jenna and Kelly Guerin for your dedication to statistics and scorekeeping. I had 2 players return to JV volleyball from last year's team. The rest moved up. We started with 10 new players and are happy to have finished with all 12. The team was enthusiastic and energetic and played against schools who had returned the average of 50% of their team from last year. We played some great matches and we have some highlights to share. The Saranac tournament was a great day and positive team building experiences occurred. Everyone played well and saw plenty of time in the games. An impressive situation occurred. There was one game where Jess DeRosier lost her shoe. It flew to the next court. She ran over and got it, put it back on, returned to our court, and played the ball. And we got the point, right? Might be on videotape. Dana was filming. You can send that for $10,000 on America's Funniest Video. In case we need to get new nets. Okay. Everyone played well, and they saw, oh, I already did that part, sorry. Anyway, our highlights was our home game. Another highlight was a home game against NAC because we played our best match that night with great skills. And both of our matches with Tupper Lake were really excellent. Could have gone to either school, but we couldn't quite get them. Next year, girls. Okay, we're going to talk about the players. Jess Dixon, number 1, is an 8th grader who gained valuable experience this year. She became a setter later in the season, and she has great speed and agility to move to the ball, which will be an asset for the future. Number 2, Caitlin Langer is a natural hitter and became a good defensive player. She was set back with an injury that sidelined her for many games, but she maintained a positive attitude. Thanks for also filling in as a scorekeeper when we went to Tupper Lake. And thank you for recovering so well and returning to enjoy the game. Number 3, Amanda Goodfellow was a quick setter and has a desire to improve all aspects of her game. She improved as a back row player and became a skilled server, earning 36 points with 13 aces, 36 digs, 30 assists, and 10 kills. Number 4, Jenna Burley scored 21 points with 5 aces, 30 digs, 12 assists, and 7 kills. At the end of the season, Jenna became determined to improve her serving skills. She demonstrated quick feet and agility in all areas of the court. Number 5, Tabby Gillespie was a hard worker and determined to improve as a setter. Near the end, I think I heard her expressing desire about hitting again, and I know she has set a personal goal of improving her serving game. Number 6, Amanda Lynch will one day become a referee in volleyball. She knows if the ball is in or out. Amanda scored 24 points with 4 aces. She's also credited with 18 digs and 5 kills. Amanda began to show confidence near the end of the season. Number 7, Vanessa Di Natale. She scored 39 points, 14 aces, 10 digs, 2 assists, and 1 kill. Vanessa was a reliable server and helped us during some tense moments. Number 9, Miranda Mills played well in the backcourt and was also able to hit the ball well. Miranda encourages all teammates. She promotes spirit, and she is one of the hardest workers at practice, improving her game. Number 10, Erin Clellan scored 24 points with 13 aces, 13 digs, 3 assists, and 6 kills. Erin moves well to play the ball and continued to improve all aspects of her game. Number 11, Carissa Manette scored 75 points with 27 ace balls. She had 14 digs, 4 assists, and 9 kills. Carissa rarely missed a serve and demonstrates her greatest confidence and strength in serving. Number 12, Sarah Kelly is a team captain, great communicator, and a focused player when it comes to volleyball. Sarah scored 37 points with 13 aces. Sarah starts in the back row receiving serves from the opponent's top servers, and she totaled 116 good serve receives. This skill helped us to regain the chance to serve. She contributed 62 digs, 5 assists, and 15 kills. I have the pleasure of announcing that Sarah Kelly is the most improved player for the 2000-2004 JV volleyball. Number 8, Ashley Patnoe is also a team captain and a great communicator. She had a successful volleyball season even though she was busting at Tupper Lake. She tried to play, but her body and her head wouldn't cooperate. Ashley successfully served 102 points with 44 aces, 44 digs, 16 assists, and 5 kills. Ashley bravely took on the role as a setter later in the season and handled that well. She encourages all players and works to keep them motivated. I'm proud to announce that Ashley Patnoe is the team's most valuable player. Throughout the evening, I have mentioned Tupper Lake many times. The last thing you need to know is that our bus broke down after we arrived there, and even though it seemed so far away, we were well taken care of, and their school district is very hospitable. I would like to address the parents again. Thank you for supporting our closure games and the opportunity you gave the girls to play one more time. I was delighted to see the entire team attend the pizza party and the game. Parents, you are as spirited and enthusiastic as your daughters. And ladies, I hope that you carry your head high in life and that sports are a part of your future. There will be a Cougar camp at the end of the year and other camps that you may want to pursue. Good luck and best wishes to all of you, and thank you for a good season. There are times when I felt like I was your third parent, but that goes along with being a coach. I hope you have as many good memories as I have in remembering 2003 and 2004.
Even though we didn't win that much, I'm still proud of the team. Everyone tried their best to strive hard at everything. I learned a lot from you the past season on being JV, and I learned something new. Even when we lost, you still had a smile on your face, and that gave us the confidence to do better. Each time, we had some good times this year. At every game and practice, you would remind us about the donkey that said, "Shake it off and step it up," never letting us get down on ourselves. Thank you. Now we'd like to present some gifts.
Would the varsity volleyball team come down some, please? Heather Manor, Sarah McDonald, Emmeline Allen, Karen Christensen Acero, Jenna Martineau, Jennifer Mitchell, Lauren Smith, Brittany Supernuff, Amanda Trombley, Ashley Yakey, Ashley Gay, Jessie Jeanette. Please welcome the varsity volleyball team and Coach Brent Baker.
The volleyball season, a season that covers late autumn and most of winter, from Thanksgiving and Christmas to Valentine's Day. A season of late nights and snow-covered roads. A season that is made possible by loyal parents and dedicated fans, which most times are one and the same. So when I say thank you for your support, I truly mean it. Thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Gilroy for always attending our games. We realize the long hours you two put in, and we appreciate it. Thanks to Mr. Castine for the TV coverage. With his videos, we were able to study our games and learn more about ourselves and how we play the game. A special thanks go out to Jenna and Kelly Guerin for taking time out of their busy college schedule to help with keeping score and taking down stats. To my coaching staff, we make a great team. Coach Ducharme has been coaching the modified team since we started in 1996. It has been her program that has provided the building blocks for the success of our JV and varsity teams. Coach OM works hard to prepare her athletes for the varsity level. This year, she was able to watch her former players have great success playing on my team. Thanks to Melissa Lemire for helping in many ways to keep things running smoothly. Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds you plant. A quote by Robert Louis Stevenson. A quote that could be used to sum up our season. This team cannot be judged by the results of this season because we were young and inexperienced, and almost every team we played was loaded with seniors. Our true talent really didn't come to the surface until 2 weeks before the end of the season. We went from last place to almost landing in second place with a late season run. With most of the players coming back next season, we will be the team loaded with seniors and a team with experience. The players on this team knew what they were up against coming into this season. Our goal was to improve every time we stepped on the court, to gain the experience we needed and to develop our talent. At times, it was hard. We resembled the young pup trying to run with the big dogs. But overall, we are now a team focused on next year. So when I say wait till next year, I say it with a lot of optimism. See what crop we reap with the seeds we have planted. At one point in the season, after we lost a well-played match to Beekmantown, I told the team, it's not your time, but it is coming, and it is. Now I say to the girls coming back next year, when your time does come, which is about 8.5 months away, be prepared for the challenges you will face. Experience and talent alone won't get you where you want to go. Hard work and training must be added to the mix. What you do between now and November 15th will play a major role in the outcome of next season. The boxer Muhammad Ali said it best when he was speaking about training, when he said, I hated every minute of training, but I said don't quit, suffer now, live the rest of your life a champion. Now I'd like to talk about the players. Two girls that had the most to lose this season were our seniors, Sarah McDonald and Heather Maynard. We lose them to graduation, but we'll remember them every successful step we take next season. Sarah was one of our captains, and she was an all-star honorable mention. Sarah's specialties were serving and passing. She could hit any part of the opponent's court on command with her serve. She could also pass the ball with pinpoint accuracy. Heather played the tough libero position. Heather's biggest gift was the experience she brought to this young team. She came in and played her position with a passion for the game. I thank both seniors and wish them luck in the future. We will miss both. Jenna Martineau, a.k.a. the Carmel Queen, and Ashley Gay both played the middle blocker position with KCA. When Ash was healthy, she and Karen provided a strong 1-2 punch in the middle of the net. When Ashley went down with an ankle injury, not once, but twice, Jenna came to the rescue. She always practiced hard, and when it came her time to play, she did not disappoint. Like Jenna, Brittany Supernaut and Jennifer Mitchell came into the games and made the most of their court time. Brittany has worked hard since 5th grade to become one of the most improved players in the game. Her hard work and desire to play comes from the love she has for the game. Jennifer made great strides this season to gain confidence in her playing ability. Once she realizes her own potential, the sky will be the limit. She's a quick little player with good passing abilities. Amanda Trombley was our other libero. The libero is a defensive player only. Her task is to dig all the hard-hit balls. Amanda and Heather had the dirty job, hitting the floor, trying to keep the ball up. No offense, no glory, just gutsy defense. Both girls held their own and did a great job. Ashley Yakey was another player who made the most of her time in the limelight. It was because of her setting we were able to continue our late season success. Ashley is the type of player who will sacrifice her body to play the ball. Every coach wants players like Ashley. To boot, she has a great taste for good music. Lauren Smith is what is known as an impact player. Fresh from the JV level, she stepped into the setter's position and made great contributions. Remember, her experience came from the concept, learn why you play. Lauren is a very good all-around player. If she works to develop her volleyball skills, next season holds much promise for her. Lauren also served as the captain this season. Ellen Allen would make a great poker player. She never changes her expression. She just goes out and gets the job done. Ellen has developed into a strong outside hitter. Her team relies on her ability to consistently spike the ball without error. Her command of the floater serve netted them 70 points and 18 aces this season. Emlyn also provided leadership for the team as a captain. Jess Jeanette is another one of those impact players. We haven't had a young player contribute so much since Zan Gerson. That's pretty good company. Like Lauren, Jess learned her position on the run. She led the team in assists with 97. Missing 2 games, she still had a team high in points served with 103. Jess is our team's MIP, Most Improved Player this year. Congratulations, Jess. Karen Christian Christensen Asaro, KCA for short. Led the team in kills with 100. She set a single season record for blocks with 62 and served up the most aces with 36. By the time Karen graduates, she should own the school record for most blocks. She was voted to the NAC All-Tournament team, and she was voted CVAC All-Conference. All-Conference meaning she's one of the 6 best players in the league. Karen is also our team's MVP for this season. Great job, Casey. And I thank all the girls for a great season.
Well, this volleyball season was definitely one to be remembered. Although we had an alright season, we had fun. We had many great times together, whether it was hanging out at someone's house, or a game, or even during practice. We had fun in the weight room, getting buffed, but not running in the halls. We also had some embarrassing moments, from finding unwanted undergarments on the bus to getting stuck in bleachers. We also seemed to embarrass Coach during our girls' hop. The team really came together on our bus rides separately, sectionals. We received roses from Coach, and in return, we sang to him. However, I don't think he appreciated it as much. As this year being my last year, I would like to thank everyone that has taken part in my volleyball career. Thanks to my parents for always being there, Coach and Miss OM for teaching me everything, and we have some for Coach. And Jenna and Kelly for being our managers. Lastly, I would like to thank my teammates. I'll never forget all the good times together, and good luck next year. I'll definitely come back and watch you play.
We have the ice hockey team there.
I didn't bring it up. She's not great.
Kyle Hicks. Eric LeBlanc. Kyle Gadway. Keenan Manette. Richard Tatro. James Cruz. John Juno. Justin Marks. Niall Manette. Cody Roberts. Mike Southwick. David Warner. Nate Young. Matt Goodrow. Jeff Horn. Ian Lapierre. Nate McCallum. Chris Matot. Tyler Oliver. Sam Parker. Justin Spring. Manager Nicole LeBlanc. She's got some fans. Please welcome our ice hockey team and coaches Rob Francis and Lee Goodwin.
They had some sweaty hands. You'd think they were the ones giving the speech or something. I'd like to start with a few thank yous as well. Of course, Josie for everything that she does, and kind of just one team sometimes, so, for what she does, it's greatly appreciated. The guys at the rec center, for all the work they do, I mean, they give us some grief sometimes for how much we chew up the ice. But we were able to work out a little deal with them this time. They're real good about giving us extra time if we need it, or switching up our game schedules, so that's greatly appreciated. The Booster Club this year, the Booster Club purchased a new set of home jerseys for us. They came out really, really good. And to follow that up, our parents as well this year. We had, with the influx of new players, get new parents, and kind of re-energize the program, so to speak. I think we'd raised $2,500 this year before we even started the season, which was excellent. With that money, we were able to purchase a new set of away jerseys as well. So that was great. My wife Bonnie, and oddly enough, when I was coaching soccer and my stepdaughter played, and Bonnie would always come to these, I would write her name down and never remember to mention her. And now that she doesn't come anymore, I never forget to mention her. So, but I thank her. She knows what it's like to live with a coach, and it's not easy. And she has to put up with me when we lose, and make sure she puts the blanket and pillows on the couch when we lose, since I can't sleep at night. So thanks to her. And of course, to my partner Lee. My work schedule is sometimes a little crazy. I don't get down there right at the start of practice, so Lee does a good job getting them out on the ice, getting them stretched out, and getting them going when I get there. And if I ever need to make sure that somebody across the rink or the official needs to hear something, I just let Lee tell him, because his voice travels a little farther than mine does, so that's good. And also to Nicole LeBlanc, who our manager this year. She came on kind of late in the year, and due to the fact that her brother was on the team, she wasn't allowed to ride the bus with us. But hopefully next year she'll come back and give us a hand, and maybe even get to ride the bus since her brother will be graduating. So I have a little something for Nicole. All right, the season. Imagine my surprise when I stepped on the ice the first day and 24 players walked out of the locker room, and they just kept coming and coming and coming, and I looked at Lee and I said, this can't be happening. 4 years ago when I started, I think we on the roster that year we had 15 players. Due to injuries and grades that year, I know we played some games with only 10. So to see where we've come in 4 years, it was amazing. So right up front we knew, we had a lot of players. We decided we were going to keep everybody on the team, that way they get a chance to skate every day, learn the systems that we were using, so that when they got to be sophomores, juniors, they'd already know everything rather than cut kids and they don't get a chance to skate with us and see exactly what we're doing. Our goal was to be able to roll 3 lines in most teams. For the most part, we were able to do that, and we did it well. You'll notice if you come to watch any games in this league that most teams only have 2 lines. That they play consistently. They may have a 3rd and 4th line that may skate 1 or 2 shifts a game, but that wasn't the case with us. It took us a little while to get the right combinations together, but midway through the season, we got some players back that were injured, and they really started playing well together and as a team. We were pretty excited. We were 3-3 at the Christmas break, which was great. December is a huge tournament month for us. We played in the Missisquoi tournament. We finished 3rd. We lost by a goal to a Missisquoi team that had 11 seniors on it. I forgot to mention that out of the 24 kids that came out for the team, 17 of them were either freshmen or sophomore. That's a young team in any sport at the varsity level, but especially in hockey. So to be 3-3, we took 3rd at the Missisquoi tournament. Beat a tough Milton team in the consolation game. The guys played well. We finished 2nd in the Tupper Lake tournament. We lost to a combined team, Burnt Hills team that was a combination of 3 schools. We played real well. In most of the games we lost this year, I would attribute to our youthfulness. It's tough, when you're playing against teams that are very senior laden. They don't make many mistakes, and unfortunately, if you make a mistake against teams like that, the puck ends up in your net, and that's an unfortunate thing. And that would be the case a lot of times. They started out a little slow. That was to be expected. Lee and I had to keep reminding ourselves that we need to be patient because they were so young. But they definitely showed they were capable of playing with any team in the league. A lot of close games. There was one week we had some makeup games. We lost 4 games by 1 goal in 1 week. That's tough in any sport. We lost to Seton Catholic 4-1. It was 2-1 after 2 periods. I don't know if any of you follow high school hockey at all, but Seton Catholic lost in the state championship game this year. So that was an incredible game. They outshot us 30-19. They rarely gave up that many shots against most teams in our league. So that was definitely a good game for us. Lost to Saranac Lake 2-1. Again, a very senior laden team. Lost to Franklin Academy 2-1. A very good team, one of the top teams in the Section 10. And lost to Lake Placid, the eventual CAC champions, 4-1, also 2-1 after 2 periods. So definitely in most every game, and it says a lot for where the program's going in the future. We were able to play 3 lines fairly equal. Cody's line, Cody and Kyle and Nate, they'd skate through the wall if you told them to. They never gave up. The Chris's line, Chris Matot with Mike Southwick and Niall really started putting it together towards the end of the year, and Eric LeBlanc's line with Justin Marks and David Werner, just 3 real solid lines. And then if we needed to rotate guys in, you had guys like Ian Lapierre and you had guys like Nate McCallum, Jeff Horn, those guys that were waiting to come in, Richard Tatro, that could step in and take spots that they needed. We didn't have any superstars. You see a lot of teams in the league that have 1 or 2 players that can really, light things up and score 40, 50 points a season. We didn't have anybody like that. But I suspect in the next couple of years, with what I'm seeing, someone's going to step into that limelight. In the other regard, we have a lot of very good quality players, and there's really not a drop-off. Defensively, we were ridiculously young at the high school level. 1 senior, 1 junior, 2 sophomore, 2 freshmen. At the high school level, again, that's a real young defensive squad. Kyle Hicks definitely anchored it. He's one of our captains. Having Keenan Manette back this year after a 1-year hiatus was definitely, a great thing. 2 sophomores, John and James, played well together. James really improved as the year went on. John, of course, he's about the size of Redwood, so when he hit somebody, they went down, which is always good to set the tone. And then, of course, Sammy and Justin Spring, who stepped right in at the varsity level, made a huge impact on defense. And these kids are only going to get better. I saw them grow. We watched them grow. We talk about it all the time on the rides home. The league is changing. We had 2 goalies this year, Matt and Tyler Oliver. Did a great job, both freshmen, going to be around for a while. I'm real excited about this team and the future of Northeastern hockey. It was tough for us to pick most improved. Obviously, when you have a lot of young kids, there's a lot of opportunity for kids to get better, and they all did. They worked hard at practice. They worked hard when they were on the ice during the games, and it's real difficult to pinpoint any one person. And like I said, we break everything down after the game, and we'd say, well, this player, had a pretty good game tonight, where this one played good last time, and so that's what we were up against. If somebody had a bad night, somebody was there to pick them up, and that's excellent. But we chose for the most improved. Was a forward, a center. The kid's a real smooth skater. Saw him improve every game. Saw him play through some injuries late in the season. Sees the ice real well. Can see where he's supposed to be and really pick his lineup towards the end of the season. And has the potential. Hopefully he'll grow a little bit and keep getting stronger and stronger. Has potential to be a very good high school hockey player. And that's Chris Matot. MVP, this was almost impossible to pick as well. We racked our brains. Like I said, we had a bunch of guys that were right around each other as far as scoring goes. So then you started looking at other attributes that would possibly make an MVP. Worked hard, good work ethic, great attitude. And I think the last thing that I'm going to say about this individual, really was said by an official who came up to Lee and I after the game and actually told Kyle this, but he said, I've seen you play for 4 years, and he said, you're a class act, and I think that says it all. So MVP Kyle Hicks. I'll say it again, as far as the future goes, we'll lose 2 seniors this year, potentially 20 kids coming back next year, figuring on probably another 8 coming up from the youth program, which is real strong. The future looks great. There was 44 seniors that were eligible to play in the senior game for the hockey this year, and we sent 2. So there's going to be some teams taking some big hits. And it's not going to be long. I think next year we're going to see Northeastern's going to start jumping up and giving everybody a run for their money. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
I'd like to start off by thanking the coaches, Lee Gadway and Rob Francis. These guys, they put endless, they work so hard to make the team better. They really don't get enough credit for what they do. They're always messing around with the lines, the lines, the breakouts, our forechecking. They're always tweaking something and try to make the system work. And they put a lot of time and effort into it, and we all appreciate it, so thanks.
These group of guys were something. To do something like mix up the lines, and you need a good group of guys. You need some talent. You need them to know what they're doing, and enough can't be said about these guys. The future of the team looks really good, with 20 possibly coming back and 8 next year. The season was a heartbreaking one. I mean, we lost many games by 1 goal, but we always stuck in there to play out for the win. Just want to say best of luck to the team next year. Thanks to the coaches for everything. Thank you.
We have the girls and boys bowling teams come down front, please.
That's as long as you're glad he did something. We don't have much to say.
Kim Noggle. Cassie Roberts. Megan Sorrell. Samantha Forey. Danielle Parker. Kelsey Deso. Erin Sorrell. Danielle Tierney. Could someone in the back please close those 2 doors? Thank you. Jarrett Morey. Ellen Mavor. Ryan McDonald. Anthony Paquette. James Tierney. Chris Burley. Charles Martin. Justin Ballard. Josh Friend. Mike Noggle. Nick Paquette. Dylan Roberts. Kyle Chambers. Derek Norton. Adam Bayshard. Caleb Hampton. Cody Hampton. Tyler Richards. Nick Stone. Please welcome our girls and boys bowling teams and Coach Chris Wells.
One of these years, I'll get a good turnout. First of all, I got a couple thank yous. I'd like to thank Calvin Castine and Hometown Cable. They came to every home game this year. I know he had other sports to cover, and he stayed with us as long as he could. We appreciate him coming to do our games. I'd like to thank John Roberts and everybody at the Bull Mart. They treat the kids good. They give us the lowest prices of anybody in the area. I'd like to thank Josie Gilroy. I know earlier in the winter it was not easy with all the cancellations that all the sports had, but somehow we got them all in. I'd like to thank all of our bus drivers. I know that was not an easy job. I'd like to thank all the parents that came to all the games, and I'd like to thank all these players up here for making this a very, very successful year. Okay, start off with the boys. Boys' record this year was 61 wins and 51 losses, and they finished in 4th place. From last year's team to this year, we only had half of our returning players out of the 10. So 5 of the 10 players were back this year. We lost 5. And last year, the boys won Section 7 champions, and we lost 4 of the 6 starters from that team. So it was kind of a rebuilding year from the bottom. They finished in 4th place for the season. At sectionals, if it was not for one player from Plattsburgh throwing the last 11 strikes, the boys would have been Section 7 champions again. And just to give you an idea on how well they bowled at sectionals, from the team that won last year to this year's team, we were 600 pins better. But we lost by 22 pins or 18 pins. Thank you. For the girls finished with a 43.5 wins and 12.5 losses. And for the second time in school history, won the CVAC championship. When it came to sectionals, we had, from last year's team, we had a majority of the returning starters. And everybody in the section was pretty well the same. One outstanding bowler, one better than average bowler, and everybody else was pretty good. And it was just on, from the other teams in the section, like Plattsburgh and Beekmantown and Ticonderoga and Osable Valley, it was going to be on how the 3 bowlers besides the top average and the second average. Because everyone was pretty much the same except for those 3. And for the first time in school history, the girls won Section 7. So. We took 9 players to the state tournament. I'm trying to remember where it was. In Canandaigua. I couldn't remember where it was. That was the most of any school in Section 7, and it was the second most in the entire state. Now for some individual awards. James Tierney. In his career, he's had the highest series in CVAC history, which he accomplished last year. This year, he tied for the highest match average in the league with 2 other players. And this year, he won the State Sportsmanship Award down in Canandaigua. Out of the 4 years they've given this award out, a Northeastern player has won it 3 of the 4 years. He's been to states 4 years, 3 times as an All-Star, and 1 time as part of the Section 7 team. Alan Mayborn. Alan started the year 4th with our highest average. Struggled a little bit at the beginning of the year, but came on at the end. He's been to the state tournament 3 years, twice as a CVAC All-Star, and once as part of the Section 17. Cassie Roberts. Cassie made her 6th trip to the state tournament, the most of any player in the state for this year. She tied for the high match average for girls with 191, and out of her 6 years, she went 5 times as an All-Star, and of course this year as part of the Section 17. improved players. For the girls, it was tough. For the boys, it was real easy. The boy who's not here tonight started the year. I knew him from the golf program, and when he tried out for the team, he was just trying to make the team. Not only did he make the team, he made the top 5. And from the start of the season to the end of the season, his average went up about 30 pins. And that is Justin Ballard. For the girl, again, it was a tough decision. And it could have gone to any of them. But just from the performance, had sectionals on one of the reasons that we won, and this girl bowled over her average both times. And with one of the very important reasons on why we won, most improved girl, Erin Sorrell. Most valuable. This one was pretty easy on both sides. There's not much I can say about either one of them. This was my 6th year of coaching, and they're the ones that started with me from the first day. I'm going to miss them next year. I'm going to miss all the seniors next year. But these two have made it an interesting 6 years, to say the least. My most valuable girl, who went to the States again 6 years, had the highest average in the league numerous times. And this year, she needed a strike in the second ball in the 10th frame to have the first ever 700 by a girl. And unfortunately, she left a solid 9 pin just to miss it. And as Calvin will tell you, she always seems to bowl her best games on TV. Cassie Roberts. And for the boy, again, highest CVAC series in history. Again, this year he tied for the highest match average in the league, and one of the most important people we've ever had in this program for boys. It's just, if you put down the top 5 boys in the history of Northeastern Clinton, he would definitely be in one of those 5, easily. The most valuable boy is James Tierney. Just a couple other side notes. When the girls won this year, they dethroned Beekmantown, who had won it 7 consecutive seasons. And we're the first team since 1990, other than Peru or Beekmantown, to win. So we're happy to get it to at least a different school, especially ours. For next season, I lost the most seniors of any, I'm going to lose the most seniors of anybody else in Section 7. But we have some 8th graders that are coming up that started the season and struggled a little bit. They didn't quite make the top 10 for junior hires, but by the end of the season, they would have made the team. So, and they've gone up 20, 30 pins in average. So that'll be very important for next year, because next year will probably be a rebuilding year, losing 2 of my top 3 girls and a number of my boys. 2 of them being James and Alan, and Cassie and Megan, for be the 4 here that I'm going to lose. Just another thing to say is that these seniors, again, are the ones that came in with me when I started 6 years ago. It's going to be real tough to come in the next season and not see their face. And not having them around and not having their company around is going to be real tough, not only for myself, but for the rest of the people that are used to seeing them. So we're really going to miss them a lot. But the future, in a couple of years, will be very good for our program. Again, we have a lot of youth bowlers bowling, and a lot of them are improving. So we're happy to see that. Thank you.
Hello. First, I'm going to start off by thanking Coach. He gets a lot of harassment from us players, but he deserves most of it. But he also deserves for
recognized as, I think, one of the best coaches in our section. I mean, he sent me to the state tournament 4 years, and Cassie 6 years, Alan a few times, Josh came with us this year the first time, and the whole girls team. So I think he needs a round of applause. Also, I would like to thank all the seniors that have been through the program with me for most of the years. Cassie and Alan in particular here, Megan too. It's going to be tough leaving, but I'm sure college will just bring on tougher challenges that we'll all have to accomplish. And Coach, we have something for you, if you can bring it up again. And I guess that'll wrap it up, so I hope y'all have a wonderful evening.
That does wrap it up, so thank you for coming.
I didn't think I would get that.
Session with volleyball, hockey, and bowling. The winter athletic teams have had another successful season here at Northeastern Clinton. There was 2 championship teams in girls basketball, cheerleading, and for the first time, sectional winners in girls bowling. But wins and losses are only part of athletics. There's also many impressive individual successes, as well as team improvements, and our 2 bowling teams earned sportsmanship awards, each of them. We also had 54 student athletes earn high honors in academics while participating this winter. On behalf of the coaching staff, I encourage our returning athletes to continue a program of excellence in the future and wish the best for our seniors who have performed in these sports for their last time at Northeastern Clinton. Our format tonight will be for each team to assemble up front. I'll introduce the athletes on the team as their coach distributes an awards packet to each of them. Each packet contains a participation certificate or a varsity letter certificate, and some athletes receive their year of graduation, some receive varsity letters or insignias or chevron buttons. Please hold your applause until the end of the introductions for each team. The coach will then comment on individual and team accomplishments. And I ask that everyone remain in the auditorium for the full session and that you're quiet while the coaches are speaking so that everyone can hear what is being said about the individuals and the teams. First team I'd like to recognize, please come forward, the boys modified A basketball team. Chester Hemingway, Chris Rule, Ryan Armstrong, Ben Dragoon, Chris Gehring, Cody Gay, Ethan McCarthy, Casey McGibbon, Tyler Sample, Corey Trombley, Trevor Batchelder, Casey Lamberton, Manager Dylan Sample, and scorekeeper Tyler Tatro. Please welcome the boys modified A basketball team and coach Jerry Davison.
Good evening. For any program to be successful, you need the help and cooperation from everyone involved, and the boys modified program was no exception. So before I get started, I need to thank some key people that helped to make my first season of coach at this level such an enjoyable and successful one. I'll start with Josie. She really does do a great job keeping us informed and on top of all the changes that take place, from the organizing of practices, times, games, scrimmages, and makeup games. It's never ending. This year was especially challenging, losing a gym and having to get everyone organized at the Champlain Elementary. She does an excellent job. Thank you, Josie. She deserves a nice round of applause. Special thanks to Jim Menard, from keeping everything functional properly during practices and games to helping us get access to areas we need around the school. For an example, the clock stopped working a couple nights before the first game, and he was able to order the part and have it in by game time. And of course, everyone knows how things work when you replace them. They work just fine, right? Well, not when I fix something, and not in the case with Jim and Rudy, who was helping him that evening. They had all the wires out of this plug trying to get it to work. I thought there was no way they were going to figure it out, but by the time it came to the first game that night, it was ready to go. So, thanks to Jim and his crew for all their help throughout the season. Frank, for your help and support. I asked Frank if you had a few out-of-balance plays at the beginning of the year, and he said, sure, I can get you some. Well, he must have thought I needed a lot of help, because a couple days later he came back with a novel of out-of-bounds plays and offensive plays. It took me forever to get through them all, but kidding aside, thanks a lot, Frank. Rob, for all your help. He works hard with the kids and knows how to get the most out of them. They respond to him well, and also for his ability to communicate real well. He made those long bus rides feel a lot shorter than they really were. Thanks, Rob. And Orville, for all your help and support, and for picking up after me after a couple games. Just a couple of times. I have a tendency to be a little forgetful sometimes. So, thanks, Orville. Parents. Without the support from the parents, obviously you wouldn't have a successful season. They have to be dedicated as much as the players, getting the kids to and from practices and games, and along with everything else that goes on at home. It's not an easy job. Thank you for helping make it a successful season. And now for our team. It's been a great experience and a pleasure being with these guys every day and watching them develop a little more each week. Some a little and some a lot, depending on what part of their game you're looking at. We set some goals throughout the season and accomplished most of them, and the kids were proud of their accomplishments. The biggest goal we set wasn't the one you accomplished on the basketball court, but the one you accomplished in the classroom. I preached throughout the year about academics, and they all pulled through. We had a few that were not doing very well to start the season, and they turned it around in a big way. We didn't lose one to academics, and that is a big accomplishment. This is just an example of how a sports program can play a big part in how well a child can improve academically. They should all be proud of themselves. Another goal we set was to try to finish at 500, and we just missed out by a game. It came down to the last game of the year where we had to face a tough PHS team, and I would have to say that was one of the best games the kids played all year. We lost, but I couldn't have been more proud of them. They outsized us and were more athletic and quicker than us, but we played them tough. We lost 3 games by a total of 6 points altogether, so I feel we actually succeeded there as well. But as we stressed all year, and at the modified level, winning isn't everything, and developing these young players is, and I believe all of them have developed into better players in more ways than one. Now for the awards. MIP, this player made improvements in leaps and bounds from the start of the season to the end, and earned a starting spot the last 5 games for his efforts. He's an excellent kid with a great attitude and always has a smile on his face, and that's why we give him the nickname Smiley. Ryan Armstrong. My MVP awards, I had 2. The first player, he was a force on the boards, offensive and defense, and when he wasn't in the game, we struggled a little bit in that area. He was a big presence in the middle on defense, and the other team's offense would just get a little bit better when he wasn't in there. He was one of our captains as well, who set a good example for the rest of the team with his hard work. Chester Hemingway. The second player has the ability to create his own shot, and his first step on the drive is excellent, which allows him to get inside at will, and he is able to finish. He creates many scoring opportunities, and we are just a much better offensive team when he's in there. He was also one of the captains and worked hard in every practice to improve his skills. Tyler Sample. I do have a couple of special thank yous to some people that helped in keeping the clock for me throughout the year. For home games in the senior school gym, I'd like to thank Jim Armstrong, Randy Davison, and Casey Richard. They were asked at a moment's notice, and they were more than happy to do it, and they did an excellent job. And for home games in the middle school gym, I'd like to thank Megan Bayshard, Amanda Rabideau, and Danny Boris. They did an excellent job, and I really appreciate it. And to my managers who put up with the players and I all year and did an outstanding job. They did everything asked of them, and were at every practice and game. They helped out in many different ways, and were a dedicated part of the team. Tyler Tatro and Dylan Sample. Congratulations on a very successful season.
We have the boys JV basketball team down front. Johnny! Richard Daniels. Kyle Kent. John Hardigan.
John.
Got some admirers, John.
We love you, Johnny. I love you, John.
Cody Brothers. Heath Dupree. Anthony Changelo. Casey Aaron. John McDonald. Matthew Barbacco. Manager James Frankie. Please welcome boys JV basketball team and Coach Robert.
You got no break. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say a word. This year was a memorable year for many reasons. First of all, the team is definitely testimony that with several obstacles standing in the way, hard work can produce great success, and they did just that. Our team was comprised of 3 10th graders, 2 9th graders, 3 8th graders, and 1 7th grader. We are the youngest junior varsity team in the CVACs due to the fact that we rarely faced a competitor with even an 8th grader. The team learned that the only way to find success is simple. You must have goals. This team worked so hard on reaching their team as well as individual goals, even if at times they seemed out of reach. Goals allow the team as well as the coach to regain focus to what an athlete is doing at the present time to help reach those goals. Our success, as stated before, comes from that simple word. At our preseason meeting, we worked collaboratively together and listed our goals so we were clear on expectations from all. Often it was great to see the unthinkable happen when a 7th and 2 8th graders are on the floor performing better than a group of sophomores. Regardless of their talent, these athletes came night after night putting forth their best effort. They simply had the motivation and intensity to work harder than most teams. A few highlights that I like to recall from this season would be, at times we'd have referees come over after the game and just talk a lot about not necessarily even being a young team, but just basically their sportsmanship on the floor, and that means a lot. The end of the season, the Saranac team won the junior varsity crown, and we had a very, very good game with them. We lost by 8 points, but it was right there till the end of the season. Another game halfway through the season, PHS remained unbeaten, and we lost with several opportunities by a margin of 3 points. And I can recall on their local cable network television, Foxy Gagnon gave a lot of credit to these kids for their hard work and pointed out some great pluses. So hopefully we can get a tape of that so you can see that as well. Outstanding defense, shutting down a talented Peru team each time. One thing that we like to forget about, but it definitely was a highlight this season, was a game against Beatmantown, because we didn't have any substitutes because of several players fouling out. We only had 29 fouls that game. The second half, Beatmantown team scored actually 2 baskets while getting 19 foul shots alone in the fourth quarter. One of my highlights for the season was beating Richard Chicago Daniels badly in a game of one-on-one. But most of all, watching the happiness of the team after the games, that they brought so much excitement to the competitions, making it enjoyable for all to watch. At this time, I'd like to recognize the members of this year's squad. Kobe Brothers. Kobe has a nice shot and is a good kid to coach. He has to continue fine-tuning his skills to help benefit him at higher levels. Kyle Kent. Kyle, as well as many others, has improved so much. This is due to the outside time that Kyle sets aside to work on weaknesses, such as going to the local YMCA. Kyle has a nice touch and played a big role for our team, especially when rebounding. Richard Daniels. Richard has a nice shot and again also needs to spend more time developing skills. I was particularly impressed with Richard at the end of the season when he was committed to being at practice, often riding his bicycle in wintry conditions. Heath Dupree. Heath was the only player who returned from last year's squad. Heath was sidelined due to an injury at the beginning of the season, but progressed nicely as time went on. Heath did a nice job defensively for our team, especially in some key games, often allowing our opponents only 1 shot. Heath needs to develop confidence with his dribbling skills. Heath will continue to be a force in the middle for years to come. John Hardigan. Capital letters. Dedicated, committed, motivated. Overall, just a great player to coach. Overcome obstacles. John had to do it all year long. I depended on him to bring the ball up the court, get the defensive rebounds, which he so often did, boxing out players 4 to 6 inches bigger than him. John needs to work on having patience and protecting the ball, which the end result will limit the amount of turnovers. John would practice with any team at any time, and he would always put forth much effort. Many times I could see that fire coming out of his eyes just looking at me saying inside, "I hate your guts." Well, John, it pays off to have those types of nights because you're forced to work even harder because I know what you're capable of. I tried to make you the best you can be, and in the future you would see the benefits involved. Tonight's your reward, John, because I named you this year's most valuable player. Anthony Changelo. I cannot ask him to improve his shot because that's one of his strengths. Anthony brings to the team a lot. Anthony combining shooting talents with Matthew Fabacco played in a tournament this past weekend, in which we won, defeating South Glens Falls. These two young athletes had everyone watching in disbelief, and an opposing coach frustrated because of the shots they were lighting up. Anthony often has to do the rebounding and plays very well in the post position, splitting and finding the mistakes in many zone defenses. Anthony, as well as many other of the young athletes, is simply waiting for their bodies to grow and fill out. Then he will indeed see the rewards that the future will bring. Matthew Fabacco. Matthew probably has the best test shot in the league. Matthew has the best overall skills for his grade level than anyone I've seen. He does need to work on his defensive skills, but that will come once his body matures. Matthew is always playing basketball with the older kids, which in return will make him one of the showcase athletes of the CVACs. Casey Guerin. Casey is the best dribbler on the team, and his overall game has improved tremendously from last year. His shot has improved, his defense is good, and he is very fast, which is what makes his presence needed on the court. Casey is also going to be a huge asset to our Cougar program. John McDonald. One of the nicest kids to coach. That's him. One of the hardest workers. That's him. Exhibits the best all-around sportsmanship. That's him. The team motivator cheerleader. That's him. And yes, the one who misses the easiest shots in any given day. That's him. John has a great personality and uses his wonderful sense of humor to lighten everyone up. The day I'll remember the most about John, which most of the kids would even dare to say during a practice, I was working with John, and I don't remember what the speech was about, but it came to working hard, and he just had this overall outlook that he doesn't like something, and I just gave him a lifelong lesson that you're not going to love everybody you work for, and that someday you may not have the best boss, or the best coach that you love, but you have to learn to deal with him. And he said, I know, I work with you, don't I? John has improved so much from the beginning of the season and now has noticed that he has definitely reached his goals. James Frankie, thanks so much for all the assistance you provided during the season. All of these athletes are so driven, which is what makes them so enjoyable to coach. With continued hard work, they will be key contributors to future teams. I would like to express my thanks to Jerry and Orville for their support this season. I would also like to congratulate all the winter sports programs and give a special thanks and congratulations to our girls cheerleading squad and Coach Sarah Hunter. Most importantly, I would like to thank the parents for your dedication and loyalty to the program, knowing quite often you had to pick up your child on late nights. In closing, to my Cougar team, as always, you did a fine job representing your school. Your talents and hard work are recognized and one in which all of the school community here at Northeastern Clinton can be very proud of. Thank you.
Okay, those are the most random gifts I think we've ever given somebody. They're like grapefruit and a fruit blender. They're pretty random. Just want you to know that.
Basically, I'd like to thank Coach Guerin for pushing us throughout the whole season to make us overall better. I think we achieved that too. I'd also like to thank the parents for bringing us to all the late practices and being dedicated and showing up to all our games. I'd also like to thank James Frankie for managing us even though he didn't really do anything during practices.
Well, we wanted to get that over 500 season. We worked pretty hard, but in the end, we came up a little short with a 8-9 record. The key word for this season was goal-driven. We must have heard that like a million times. Unbelievable. All the time. We accomplished a lot of goals though as a team. We were always down with, there's always injuries, someone was gone, someone was sick. So we never really had a full team, but we had players who really stepped up in key moments to make this a good season. I don't know how Mr. Guerin missed this, but probably the one of my favorite moments of the season was Peru the first time. We were winning like the whole game, and then they come back, tied in the fourth quarter. We go into overtime. We're down by 2, 8 seconds left. At that point, we're like, you know, I don't know, it's going to be a close one. So, all of a sudden, our biggest man, Heath Dupree, our center, gets the ball, dribbles up court, shoots a three-pointer at the buzzer, and we win by 1. I've never seen Mr. Guerin jump so high. It was unbelievable. That was a good night for me. As he said, there was a lot of personal improvements that were really good. John McDonald, a.k.a. Susie. The kid, he couldn't make the simple shots, but when it came down to it, he could make the reverse layups, go figure. But he really was a big part of this team, keeping us pumped up, and those little grunts and groans whenever he missed the easy ones. Made us smile, John. Thanks. Anything else? That was about it. Thanks, Calvin. Thanks, everyone else, for pushing us. Thanks, Mr. Guerin. You helped. All right, thanks.
I know.
We have the varsity boys basketball team now.
On TV.
Caleb Castine, Kevin O'Connor, Josh Trombley, Peter Yell, Tom Babby, Tyler Bayshard, Dustin Bowman, Corey Letourneau, Mike O'Connor, Brandon Sample, Brad Trahan, Aaron Batchelder, Mike Barbatko, scorekeeper Adam Dutil. Please welcome our boys varsity basketball team and coach Gordon.
Just to add a little more information on that great game in Peru, when he shot the ball, it was a torpedo from 30 feet out. I never saw it hit the glass so hard. And it went, from that point on, it went right in, and we all were shocked. It was a great feeling. So, at this time, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my boys' basketball team. But before I start, I'd like to also recognize so much what the girls have done this year with an outstanding job. Our cheerleaders. Calvin for being so many games and taping them. Mrs. Gilroy for all the help she did for us. And I would especially be remiss if I did not take a special time to really thank the Booster Club, because they did a nice job of getting us brand new uniforms, and we look like $1 million out here. So we really appreciate that. Okay? Now, to me, was probably one of there's Adam right there. Late for it again. You know?
Hey,
Okay. At this time, I'd like to just take a second. I don't want to go into my players because what they did or what they did not do, because to me, they all were one tremendous group of guys. Probably the nicest group of people I had ever coached. Not that I haven't had many good teams and many good players, but these were nice people. But this was a special year for 3 reasons. Number one, what a cheerleading group we had. They were the best in the county. We really appreciate that as a team. Two, I really wanted to thank the parents because they were cooperative, they were helpful, they pulled for every player on the team. Most of the parents were at every game. And they were understanding and very, very supportive. And you cannot ask anymore when you have parents like that. Even though we only had 2 wins and 19 losses, we had a great group of people. Okay? And finally, I like to thank my players themselves because this had to be the most respectful group of boys I've ever coached. They were dedicated. Even after every loss they came, they worked hard, they tried to stay in condition, and they were there if all possible every game and every practice. It just was one group of guys that I really think were dedicated. They also did a nice job pulling together, trying to understand that yes, there is a first player and there is a 13th player. But they all have feelings, they all need some playing time if they get a chance, and these guys were understanding, and they did a good job working for everybody and feeling for everybody. And another thing too out of all this, probably one of the nicest teams I've ever had, I could say they really enjoyed playing basketball. They enjoyed just as much playing 2-on-2 as playing in a game against Saranac or whatever. And yes, they did show improvement. At one time when we started, we played Saranac 4 times. And the first couple of times we were blown out right from the beginning, but the last 2 times, the first quarter and a little bit of the second, we were able to hang right with them and play almost equal basketball. And that was a great improvement. Now I think finally that I think the future is very bright. We have 4 kids graduating, 4 players, but we also have a great returning group, and yes, there is a nice group of kids coming from junior varsity. And the only thing I'm saying is we need really 2 things to happen. We need to have some boys dedicated to practicing their shots and working at the game of basketball during the summer. We need to have the guys, and I think they will be there for the summer league. And finally is a wish, but I wish every one of them could grow 1 foot between now and the time we start next year. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Okay? But anyways, guys, you were a real group of guys, and I enjoyed every minute of the season. And finally, I think it's time that we recognize some players that I think have gone beyond. And the first one was, I think, the most improved player. It came from a person that I think really enjoyed playing the game, waited his turn last year, wanted to start this year, and I did start him some, but I also put him as the 6th or 7th person. And by the end of the year, he had the opportunity to finally play in that game at the college, and Lord and behold, he hurt his ankle and he couldn't play. But he was a great improvement, and he had probably the quickest first step I ever saw in a guy on Northeastern team, and that is Josh Trombley. And finally, 2 that I thought I could go with 1, but I just could not. There are 2 people I thought were the most valuable players on our team. Is a junior and a sophomore. The junior is a guard who played the point guard for us out of necessity, but he really should be a number 2 guard, which we hope will happen next year. But he has a great shot, great heart, and only going to be improved with his senior year, and that is Mr. Thomas Babbitt. And finally, because I want to move right on, I'm sure the girls coaches want to get up here. This is a person, Robbie mentioned his brother being a 7th grader and an outstanding basketball player. And this boy right here is going to be one of the best ball players by his senior year in the CBAC. And that is a sophomore. He averaged about 13, maybe 14 points a game. And he surely is the most valuable player, Mike Fabacco. Just before they leave, I just want one more time have you recognize and see who they are. I want to thank you guys, my seniors, Josh Trombley, Kevin O'Connor, Pete Yell, Caleb Castine. My juniors, Mike O'Connor, Tyler Bayshard, Brad Trahan, Dustin Bowen, Brandon Sample, Corey Letourneau, and Tommy Babby. And my 2 sophomores that are going to be back, Aaron Batchelder and Mike Pavacco. You guys were great. And also, before I go, I better recognize this man. He was... Talking about me? Yes. And he's an asset, and if you don't believe it, he will tell you. So, but I do, he tried the best. He's been my manager. He played basketball for our program. And this year he also had to put so much time into his UN because he said he was one of the head honchos, so I believed him. But he did everything he could. He helped keep the scorebook. He came to some of the practices and made them lively and everything else. And I have a little gift for you, and you've been great all the time and great luck in college, okay?
Thank you for coming to our games. I know they're hard to watch. Thank you.
Do we have the cheerleaders down front, please? Heather Hawksby? Missy Top? KK Woodward? Sierra Babby? Krista Barcombe? Marcy Brasser? Jamie Burnell? Sarah Bushy? CJ Hunter? Courtney Leduc? Nikki Anktil? Courtney DeMars? Ryan Hampton? David Senecal? Victoria Palmer? Nora Paola? Bailey Trahan? Michelle Lawrence? Paige Menard? Tara Real? Please welcome the varsity cheerleaders and Coach Sarah Hunter.
All right, first of all, I need to thank everyone, and I'll try not to cry. I do it every year, I'm sorry. You know, it's the bad part about having one sitting over there with all men. First of all, I just need to thank everybody. I want to start by thanking the boys basketball team, especially Orville. I think we scared him a little this year when the first game came around, away game, and he realized there were 20 on my team to his, 12? Took up a lot more of the bus than he thought, and they're a lot louder. He took it very well, though. He's been a great support. Thank you, Orville. I also like to thank the girls basketball team and the volleyball team. You guys were a great support. It was amazing to see you guys up in the crowd at all the home games and all your support coming to CVAC. I can't tell you how much we appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Next, I'd like to thank Chris Crowley and the school board for all their support throughout the season. I saw an awful lot of them at the CVAC competition, and it was wonderful to see you all there. It means a lot. Next, I'd like to thank parents. 20 kids on this team. Parents mean a lot. It's hard to get 20 sets of parents to agree to bring their kids to practices. They were odd practices. Josie did a wonderful job this year getting us amazing gym time, considering all these situations here at the school with the gym. And getting parents to pick their kids up and drop them off at the Champlain Elementary every night was wonderful. And I thank every one of you. Without you, this team would not be where they are. I have to thank all those parents for bringing them for coming and supporting us at CVACs and Messina. Having a super crowd gave them the push to, I think, to win. And it's nice to see parents there. You don't always see the parents anymore. And it feels good as a student to look up in the crowd and see your parents. I know as a coach, I'm not even one of those students, but I can look up in the crowd and see my own parents supporting me. That means a lot. And now I'd like to thank Josie for all her wonderful help, getting information to me at the last minute when things changed, letting me know I don't work at the school, and it's great to have somebody, just give you a call and say, hey, after school activities are being canceled. It means a lot, especially the week before Messina competition. She willingly, well, I don't know about willingly, she stepped in and sat through one of my practices with Steph so that I could be with my husband, and that meant a lot. Sorry. I need to thank my stepdaughter, Carrie, because I think she had the toughest job of all this year. She had to babysit Sydney again. 2.5 years old. It's not always easy, so thank you, Carrie. And to Steph, my unofficial assistant coach, you're the best ever. You know that I couldn't have done all this year without you. You were just there. Thank you for giving me your opinion, even when you knew that it was going to go my way anyway. Just thanks for putting up with me, you big freak. Chuck, my wonderful husband. Sorry. All I can say is next year, if you don't want to do the music, just tell me. We don't need to spend 5 days in the hospital, okay? All you have to do is say so, I'll find someone else. Now to my seniors. Amazingly enough, out of these 20, I only have 3 seniors. My first one, Heather Hawksby. After last year, I really wasn't sure she'd come back. She didn't seem too interested last year. She kind of just was there. But she came back and shocked me. She became a tremendous cheerleader, a wonderful bass, and she was basically the one person on the team that said everything that nobody else would. Thank you, Heather. I wish you all the best of the luck at Plattsburgh State next year. My second cheerleader I have to keep really short, Missy Cobb. After 5 years, Missy's become like a third daughter to me. She spends as much time at my house as my own children do. And I think in the past 5 years, she's only missed maybe 2 practices. And that could be why she's become such an incredible cheerleader. I've got 2. She's always the first one to forget that I'm the coach. but everybody still seems to look up to her, even though they won't admit it. Good luck next year at the University at Albany. And finally, KK. What do I say about KK? She's another one I didn't think I'd see after last year. She didn't seem too keen on it last year, and then she showed up for tryouts, and I think she's probably had the best time this year of anybody. She has become the team clown. She can make you laugh at any given moment. There's nothing else I can say other than good luck at the University of Hawaii at Honolulu, you laughing hot dog loving dancer. All right, I promise I'll be quick. This year I chose 2 most improved out of 20, honestly. 8 new ones. I could have easily chosen 12 most improved, but I cut it down to 2. My first one is young, but she didn't hesitate when I volunteered her to go in as a flyer. She never questioned anything I asked of her, at least not to my face. She probably did say it more than once to everybody around her. I honestly wasn't sure she had a real voice until about halfway through the season. You never heard too much about her, never heard too much from her. She was just kind of there every day on time, stayed till the absolute last minute. But by about mid-season, she fit in quite well with the rest of the team, and in fact, she's become quite mouthy. Fits right in. This time I'd like to congratulate Michelle Lawrence. My second most improved is a little easier to figure out. The first part of the season, he spent most of it looking out of place, like he didn't belong, like he wasn't sure he wanted to belong. But once he got his own real uniform to match everybody else's, he seemed to fit in a lot better and started to shine. By the time CBAC had rolled around, he became my daughter Sydney's girlfriend. And he became a regular fixture at my house as well. I'm hoping to see him next year, and I'm hoping to see even more of him, more of his improvement. And who knows, maybe next year he'll even outbeat Ryan. David? Sorry, guys. First time in 20 years, CBAC champions, as well as Messina champions. I didn't pick a most valuable player, only because I realized that to be able to come from a 4th place finish last year to a 1st place finish this year, I needed an entire team of most valuable players. So as my gift to my team, I'm giving you each your own most valuable player trophy.
Courtney Mark, Missy Koff, KK Woodward, Sierra Babby, David Seneco, Marcy Brasser, Heather Hawksby, CJ Hunter, Vicky Palmer, Brian Hampton, Sarah Bushy, Bailey Trahan, Jamie Brunel, Nora Paola, Nikki Ankfield, Tara Real, Michelle Moritz, Courtney Leduc, Paige Menard, and Krista Barkman.
I wasn't going to catch you once you broke CJ's finger. That's it. Because my fat girls are hungry, so I'll make it quick.
Okay, before I get started, I just wanted to make a comment. Last year at Miss Senior we took last, and this year we swept the entire competition, so that's a big accomplishment for our team. Okay, nothing gold can say, as Robert Frost once said, everything good must come to an end. These past 4 years have been the best of my life. I've been on the team through the evolution from worst to first. I know there are some of you standing up here tonight thinking, thank God this is done. But to me, this has to be the worst feeling of my life. As all of you know, I eat, breathe, sleep, drink cheerleading. I'm standing up here tonight not knowing if I will ever cheer again, but all of that doesn't matter right now. The only thing that matters to me is how amazing we were this year. Everyone put their all into it, and it felt great when we won. You all were like my family, and I will always have a place for every single one of you in my heart. Never give up on this team. Next year will be even harder than this year. You will have to work 150 times harder to beat NAC and PHS. To all of you standing here that will be returning, I wish you the best of luck. To my fellow seniors, KK and Heather, I wish you the best for college. I know we all will succeed in what we do. I'd also like to thank you for such a great season. Although there were a few fights, many between me and Ryan, we made it through, and what doesn't kill us only makes us stronger. Now here's a little advice for each of and every one of you. Coach, don't get weak on them next year. Make sure you push them 8 times as hard. Karen and Mindy will be gunning for our trophy. You have been such an inspiration to me over the past 4 years. I'm going to be completely lost without you. I might be wearing different colors on my cheer suit next year, but my heart will always be maroon and white. Steph, don't try to be so mean because we all know you're a big softie. Heather, never stop smiling. I know you will go far in life. KK, enjoy Hawaii, and make sure you send me lots of pictures of the ocean. CJ, keep with that twist down, or twist up to full. I'm sure you will get it soon as long as you have determination. Sierra, good luck basing next year. I will miss you. Marcy, if there is anyone who could fill my shoes as the grumpy captain, it's definitely you. I love you, hun. Krista, suck it up and ride it as hard as you can. I know you will get your twists from a live and much more next year. Sarah and Jamie, stop fighting with David. Courtney Ledoux, good luck next year with basing. It takes hard work, but I think you will be okay. David, stop fighting with Sarah and Jamie. Ryan, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. Court, make sure you work harder next year on your flying. You won't have me under you, and your bases won't be used to your technique, and keep your snake in its cage. Vicky, Nikki, and Paige, stick with basing. You all are getting pretty good. Nora, remember there's a cement box around you. Bailey, you need to cut about 5 inches off your legs. Tara, suck it up and stay tighter than you did this year. Nobody likes a loose wire. Michelle, work on your jumps because I think you will be an amazing cheerleader once you master that skill. And last but not least, Chuck, stop having heart attacks after we win CVACs. Now I'd like to leave all of you with one thought. Elevate your mind, get yourselves together. When I say 1, 2, 3, do this with me. 1, 2, 3, do this with me. I love all of you. Good luck next year.
Coach, I love you, and we all love you, and we have a gift for you. I'm not very good at this.
Oh.
And I know we didn't get you anything last year, so this should make up for it. So you better not break it, because I'll have to come to your house and make Missy questions.
Okay, okay, I'm trying, I don't know what to say. Okay, we got the seniors, okay. Okay, I love you all, and good luck, and Heather.
Okay, I'll say something to all the captains. First to Heather. You always...
Here, Missy.
Glad we screwed that up.
That took long enough. Hey, look, I'm sitting in the place we got at CCS.
Would Abby Lambert and Kevin O'Connor come down for me?
That was so embarrassing. No, I need to all the questions. I don't care, my parents don't want me. Hey.
Way to go, Kevin.
In each sports season, the CDAC All-Academic Award is presented to 2 senior athletes in recognition of their contribution to and achievement in sport, as well as their success in academics. For the winter 2004 season, these awards go to Abby Lambert from the basketball team, and Kevin O'Connor, also from the basketball team. I've sent their picture in, and it'll go in the paper at some point, so congratulations to both of you. Would the girls modified A basketball team come down, please? Megan Bashar, L'Oreal Bombadier, Sarah Katie Hardigan, Amanda Rabideau, Jennifer Bashar, Kim Dragoon, Amanda Forey, Jen Gay, Colleen Hohen, Chantel Lavelli, Erin Macy, Megan McComb, Brooke Superna, Manager Jessica Van Leuven, please welcome the girls modified A basketball team and coach.
Good evening. I'm trying to find my speech here, but I didn't write one, so. There's 2 things that's tough about being a coach. One is making cuts, and 2 is having to get up here at the end of the season. I'm going to tell you that right now. We had a vote over there, and we all agreed on that. So we get up here and give it our best shot. As I was coming to school this afternoon for softball practice, it was probably about 20 after 3. And I'm driving around the back of the school, and my God, I must have seen 100 different athletes. That's how important sports is to young adults today. Sports and extra activities. It's a very, very big part of their lives today. It was years ago, but I think it's even more today. Yes, academics is number one. There's no doubt about that, going on to college. But you need that second. You need the sports, you need the extra activities. Each year, our athletic director, she's the first one they come after when it comes time to cut the budget. And I'm not talking $100 or $200, I'm talking thousands of dollars. So when these times roll around, even if you've had students here, athletes that gone on, remember us, because it's a big part of their lives, and down the road, it could be very serious. And I don't know where all these young people would be if there were no sports. So I'm just asking you to keep that in the back of your mind when the Booster Club and any other organization is trying to raise funds to keep sports going, because it's very, very important. That's only a piece of the puzzle. Another part of probably the athletic puzzle, besides having all these fine young athletes and all these nice smiling faces, is that we also have MVPs besides just our athletes. I believe this year we have MVP in our athletic director. And I know the boys are going to smile at me and say, boy, you suck it up now, but I'll tell you what. To go through what she's had to go through with not having a second gym is not an easy job. Not at all. And that's a big piece of the puzzle. Yeah, we got to straighten her up once in a while. She barks at us and we bark back. But when it's all over, it's forgotten and we go on. And looking around at a lot of other schools, we're very fortunate to have the MVP of athletic directors, and that's Mrs. Gilroy. And with only one gym, I'll take the second practice each day. We're very fortunate to have our Booster Club. Okay, we got some MVPs there. So one hidden one is probably Kieran Gilroy. Over the years, that man puts in a lot of extra hours. Okay, I've come up here at off hours. I've seen him out in these booths. I've seen him everywhere. And that's not putting down anybody else or anybody that may be involved in Boosters Club, because when it comes to it, we need help. All we got to do is ask. People are there. And also, Carol Bayshard, this year being president of the Booster Club, has put in a lot of extra hours. And this is another big part of the athletics and part of the puzzle at this school. And those two people deserve a big round of applause. Another part of the puzzle is our coaches. We get coaches in the system, and they stay. Many schools we go to each year, we shake hands probably with a new coach. And to me, that's not the way to build a program. If the kids are going to get into it, and they're going to put their hearts into and work hard every day, when a coach applies for a job, I think it's great when there's longevity there, when he's going to put the years in. And you don't coach for the money. I'll tell you that, because I see a lot of these coaches dump that money right back into the kids and do all they can for them to make it, pleasant. Some days kids may not have any money, and the coaches are right there always to help them out, no ifs, ands, and buts. And I think the coaching staff here at Northeastern Clinton and the school board, the ones they've hired, they've done an excellent job, and I think that group deserves a nice round of applause. And the final piece of the puzzle is our athletes. You look through that program like I do every day, or not every day, every time we have these awards, and I've been at a couple of them. We seem to always have a winner in there. We seem to have a section winner. We seem to have many kids doing well academically. We got kids on all-star teams. We got kids going downstate to bowl. Over the winter season, we had girls bowling champs. We had girls varsity basketball sectional champs. We had girls JV champions. And it just goes on every year, every year. We don't rebuild, we seem to reload. And I think that's a great compliment to all of our community. And the reason that happens is because of our athletes. When they step onto the fields and step onto the game fields, and when things are going on, they pour their hearts into it. And that's the biggest part of the puzzle is these young people. It's not easy going through some of these practices, getting on these buses, some cold winter nights, short spring season, cold out there in the soccer. We always expect more and more and more, and they seem to keep on coming through for us. And for that, I think all the young athletes in Northeastern Clinton deserve a good round of applause. My team, they put a smile back on my face when I needed it. I'll tell you that. And what a joy. I switched from a boys program, and I had no problems with the boys. I'll tell you why I switched. I've been around Norm Bottom for a long time. I've been around Andy a long time. We played ball together a long time ago. And I always said when my career came down to get close to the end, to getting done coaching, I wanted to be with those guys. And that's one reason why I switched. But the guy who filled my shoes, I'll tell you what, he's as good if not better than I am. And Orville's fortunate to have two young men under him that are dedicated to this program, and they're going to make it work. We have to support them just like we support the girls. And speaking of girls, like I said, these young ladies put a smile back on my face. And what a joy to come to practice, hustle. It was nice to walk out to the hall after my girls got done playing, and I'd hear people say, "Man, did you see them two little blondes chase the ball? What about that dark-haired girl? Boy, she could shoot." Man, when he subbed, there was no difference. Well, I'll tell you what, that's quite a treat for a coach when you can hear people talk about his team like that. First half of the season, we lost 2 games before Christmas. One thing at Christmas break, I listened to a lot of other coaches after the holidays were done, and they said, boy, oh boy, oh boy, I don't know what we're going to do. We couldn't get anybody in the gym during Christmas break. Well, that's the time I felt our program picked it up. Because during Christmas, we stepped our practices up to 2 hours a day, and we had very few girls missing. And that put us right on the top. And we never got challenged after the Christmas break till the end of the season. And these young ladies deserve a fine, fine hand for all the hard work they've done. I spoke about MVPs. I said Josie was definitely one this year. I think the overall coach of the whole CVAC MVP this year would go to our cheerleading coach. Because I'll tell you what, they went from doormat to a golden stairway. And it all had to do because of her. I watched her, some of her practices. Sometimes I would start my practice late because I'll tell you what, she was fun to watch. I thought I was tough in the gym. I'm a big teddy bear next to her. I want to tell you that. That girl right there has put Northeastern on the map for cheerleading. She knocked off some powerful clubs. And again, she didn't just step in for a year. She came in, she's putting her years in. And again, hard work pays off. And she's living proof of it. Congratulations to you. Well, I had an MVP too, and I had an MIP. And I felt one of the nicest clubs I've ever coached. My MIP goes to Chantel LaValle, and I can put it very simple. This girl works hard, and that's what you got to do. Chantel? My MVP, most valuable player, if everybody had this girl's attitude, and you took it to work every day, or if you took it to any challenge that you had to go at, you take her attitude and you're a winner. Pound for pound, the toughest, by far, athlete I've ever coached. I don't know how she does it. Her knees is on the floor, bangs. All I can say when I was playing, I wouldn't want that girl guarding me. My MVP goes to Kim Dragoon. And my last MVP goes to my manager. Jessica, you step forward. There's no way you can be short for words, Jessica. Step right up here. Thank you, everybody.
Hello everyone, and on behalf of the team, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. This year was a new experience for all of us. The girls and I didn't know what to expect from Mr. Dumas. I think we were a little intimidated by him in the beginning, but we soon began to warm up to him. This year was a challenge for all us girls, but we stuck through it and we definitely learned a lot. And I think Mr. Dumas learned a lot from us too. We were a big change from the boys, and I think we brought out his feminine side a bit. By the end of the season, we had him picking the sparkles out of lip gloss. And he was keeping us waiting in the cold while he was in his car combing his hair. This season truly was great, though. We lost a few players along the way, but we still came together as a team and finished with a 12-2 season. Not too shabby, ladies. And we had fun all the way, too. There were so many fun times with the girls. We had our mini tie-bow sessions before practice that we got a kick out of. And then there were Jess's boyfriend, Bob. Then there was Aaron's bright idea of praying before games, which turned out to be the goofiest thing you've ever heard of. And there was our big injury night. Aaron and I ended up with huge bumps in our forehead, and Megan hurt her knee. But overall, the season was just fun. I wouldn't change a thing. And we never would have done as well as we did without Mr. Dumas. He truly is a great coach. Thanks, everyone. We'd also like to thank our manager, Jessica. We have something for her. Here, Jess.
We want to see that feminine side. We have the girls' JV basketball team down front, please.
Oh yeah, it's there. Also,
Leanne Carson, Darby Turner, Jordan Clark, Marianne Goody, Tricia LaValle, Emily O'Hara, Elaine Rabideau, Danielle Boris, Tessa Pirro, Courtney Brooks, Johnny Ray Corrier, Manager Brittany Trahan. Please welcome our girls JV basketball team and coach David Lambert.
Good evening. At the start of this year, I had two main concerns. The first one, I was moving up to coach JVs, replacing Ron Navarre. Ron had many successful seasons here, and I was worried about keeping the success going. And secondly, and a much, much greater concern, and you all saw it tonight, was that when I found out Frank Dumas would take over the girls' modified team, that meant one thing to me. I had to follow his speech. And I just want to know, Frank, what office are you running for? Well, my first concern turned out all right, but my second one, well, if it don't, that's okay too. Going into this season, I realized I was going to have a very young and inexperienced team. With only one girl left from last year's team, I had to set some realistic goals for us. I thought that maybe we could reach at least 500. And if we improve throughout the year, we could possibly win 10, maybe even 12 games. Well, we started the season in a 2-game tournament in Malone. We played Messina the first day and Malone the second. After 2 days, we were already 0-2. And they were not very pretty games for all that saw it. I thought I might have to adjust my goals a little bit. After those 2 games, we came back and realized we we had a lot of hard work to do. And we seemed to improve as the season went on. The girls worked very hard. The last 2 games of the year were against Ty and Saranac. These are usually the 2 best teams in the league. We saved our best basketball for these last 2 games, and we won both contests. After starting the season at 0-2, we finished by winning 15 of our next 17 games. We not only finished above 500, we were co-champions in Division I of the CBAC. The girls have been very, very proud. A little bit about the team now. Leanne Carson. She usually gives you everything she has out on the court. She plays very hard. She has a very nice shot also. She scored a lot of big baskets for us. I'm going to miss Leanne next year. Emily O'Hara. She tries very hard. It doesn't always come easily for Em, but I think that once she learns to calm down when she's on the court, she's going to be just fine. Trisha LaValle came off the bench for us and hit some very big shots. Her shot is kind of hard and it's kind of low, but somehow they go in. And I don't know how she does it, but how can I argue with her? Jordan Clark seemed to improve steadily as the year went on. She started driving to the basket, left, right-handed, didn't matter. She had several big games for us down the stretch. Marianne Doody, she was one of my best defensive players. She always seemed to be around the ball and created several turnovers. I'd also like to congratulate Marianne this year on an injury-free season. She took a lot of hits, but always bounced back up. Danny Morris, she played what I like to call a quiet game to me. Danny would let Darby play the high post and battle the other team's big girls. When Darby shot and missed, Danny would quietly go around him, get the rebound, and put it back in. I was getting on Danny's case early in the year about rebounding, but after a few games I realized I didn't have to do that anymore. Her father would do it for me. Kessa Perro is without a doubt the most intense player on my team. Whether playing in a game or practice, she always expects to do everything right. She tries very hard at every aspect of the game. I appreciate all of your hard work, Kessa. Johnny Ray Koya. She has a little bit of an attitude, I think. But I kind of like that at times. As a 7th grader playing on the JV level, she showed very little fear. I guess that comes from playing with the 2 older sisters all the time. Johnny Ray has all the necessary tools to become a very successful player. Courtney Brooks also made the team as a 7th grader this year. When making my picks for the team, I wondered if I was making the right decision. Well, my worries were put to rest after just a couple of games. She played excellent defense and scored several points for us. I'm certainly glad I kept you, Courtney. Just a quick story about Courtney. I was thinking about it just the other day. We were playing one game, I think it was Plattsburgh, or it was a real close game. Right down the stretch, the last couple minutes of the game, and she got a little pressure there, and she threw the ball away a couple times in a row, and I said, well, I better take her out. And I'm saying to myself, what should I tell her? I'd have to tell her as a coach, I had to discipline a little bit. And so she's walking across, tears coming down her cheek. She says, Mr. Lambert, I'm real sorry for making those bad passes. And I said, well, what can I say now? But it was a pleasure having you. Jalen Ravenel is the kind of player every coach would want. Whether it's her saying every night, hi coach, before practice or the game, cheering on her teammates during the game, or encouraging others to run faster during wind sprints at practice. Jay started a little slow for us this year playing guard, so I decided to move her to forward. And that was a pretty good move, I thought. She learned to go to the basket left and right-handed, posting up the other team's big girls. She rebounded very well and shot the ball with confidence. Jay, for all your hard work, I have chosen you as my most improved player. This is the 3rd year in a row that I've coached Darby Turner. Darby always impressed me with her work ethic. There is no player that will try harder any more than Darby. She scored a lot of points for us this year and hauled down a ton of rebounds. At the end of the season, Darby was called up to the varsity. I think she gained some valuable experience in just a very few games. I will certainly miss you next year, Darby, but my goodbye present to you is the Most Valuable Player Award. And before my thank yous, I just want to also congratulate the cheerleading team. Did a great job this year, made us all proud. The boys program, got some good talent coming up. I'm sure things are going to improve. And the varsity team. We don't realize that we were just a couple points probably from that South J went and won the championship, and we were ever so close, girls. And it just goes to prove with hard work, we can win the state championship, and we're going to one day. I'd like to thank my wife, Lisa. There are some occasions during the year that I go home and I vent a little bit, believe it or not, especially after that Double A game. But Lisa's always there to give you encouragement. Thanks to Josie Gilroy. Your work, Josie, does not go unnoticed, believe me. My fellow coaches, Andy, Norm, and Frank, I couldn't ask to work with 3 better people. I learn more and more with them each year. To all my players' parents, you're all very supportive of the team this year. I greatly appreciate it. To all the youth coaches out there, you are certainly the backbone of this program, and you are a very big reason for our success. Thanks for Calvin, to take a lot of our games this year. We had a little something for you, Calvin. Brittany Trahan was my manager this year. She did a wonderful job. Brittany, I got something for you. It's a token of our gratitude from all of us, and I thank you for a job well done. Brittany? I want to thank all the members of my team. No matter what role you played this year, everyone contributed greatly to the team. I expect several of you will be back with me next year, and I know some very fine talent on the modified team. I'm looking forward to even greater success next year, and the goals will be set even higher. My final thank you this year goes to a very special person in my life. I've been very fortunate over the years to have 2 daughters to be part of our program. Well, this year, one will be leaving. 10 years ago, I started coaching for the same reason many coaches get started in this program. I had a daughter who wanted to play in a school that needed a coach. So I started coaching, Abby started playing. We've had a lot of good times on the court and some sad ones as well. Lots of laughs, some tears, mostly mine. Mom and I want to thank you, Abby, for 10 wonderful seasons of basketball. You have certainly given us a lifetime of memories. Abby, would you please come down here? I have something for you.
We had a great season this year. We ended up with a 15-2 record and we're co-CBC champions. Throughout the season, I think each person on our team improved somehow. We worked hard in practice, and I think it showed in our games. The person we really need to thank for that is our coach, Mr. Lambert. You helped all of us to improve this season. We had a lot of fun, and you're a great coach. Oh yeah, and I don't think any of us will ever forget you telling off the ref at the Tupper Lake game. Anyways, thanks for the great season. Our team. Well, whether it was in the locker room, at the practices, or on the bus rides, we always seem to have fun. I'm going to miss you guys next year, and I know you guys are going to miss my awesome singing. We'd also just like to thank Mr. Landry, Mr. Bono, and Mr. Dumas for helping through the season. Our manager, Brittany, you did a great job. Calvin Casson for taping our games, and everyone else who came to support us throughout the season. Thank you.
The girls varsity basketball team.